I think the hardest kind of heartbreak is one where nothing officially breaks. I really liked her, not in a loud, dramatic way, more like a quiet gravity that pulled my thoughts towards her, and even when I tried to focus on something else. She felt familiar in a way I couldn't explain, like we were on the same wavelength without ever saying it out loud. Conversations with her flowed easily. We talked for hours about nothing and everything. We laughed at the same stupid things. Sometimes there would be these pauses, comfortable, charged, but meaningful, that made me think, there's something there. I felt it in my chest before I ever admitted it to myself. The problem was, she never made it clear. Some days she felt close. She'd text first, ask questions, remember small details about me that no one ever noticed. She'd lean in when we talked, stay longer than she needed to, smile in a way that felt personal. Those moments lit me up. They made me believe I wasn't imagining the connection, that maybe she felt it too, and was just moving at her own pace. Then other days, she felt miles away. Replies would come slower, plans would stay vague, her warmth would cool just enough to make me doubt everything I thought I understood. I told myself she was busy. I told myself not to read into it too much. I became an expert at rationalizing disappointment, convincing myself that patience was maturity and silence was nothing to worry about. The mixed signals were exhausting. Hope and doubt started living side by side. Every small gesture felt like a clue I had to decode. I replayed conversations in my head, searching for meaning in her words, her tone, the way she looked at me when she laughed. I wondered if I was special to her or just convenient, if I was being careful or just afraid to face the truth. I didn't want to push. I didn't want to ruin what we had by just asking for more than what she was willing to give. So I stayed in that uncomfortable middle space where feelings grow but clarity doesn't, where you care deeply but never feel secure, where you're close enough to imagine something real but far enough that it can disappear at any moment. Eventually, reality caught up. It wasn't dramatic. She didn't sit me down and reject me outright. Instead, the truth revealed itself slowly, through consistency or the lack of it. I realized I was always just the one waiting, the one adjusting, the one hoping. I saw that while I was building a future in my head, she was just passing time. Whatever connection I felt, she didn't feel it in the same way, or at least not enough to choose me. That reality hurt more than a clean rejection would have. Because how do you grieve something that was never fully yours? How do you let go of a maybe? I wasn't heartbroken over a relationship. I was heartbroken over the potential, over the version of us that only existed in my imagination. I had fallen for the space between her actions and my hopes. In the end, the disappointment wasn't just about her, it was about trusting the wrong signals, about believing that chemistry meant commitment, that closeness meant intention. It was about learning that feeling a connection doesn't guarantee it's shared, and even if it is, that doesn't mean it's enough. I don't regret liking her. What I regret is how long I stayed in uncertainty, mistaking confusion for possibility, and still, she taught me something important. Mixed signals are an answer. No matter how strong the connection feels, you deserve someone who clearly chooses you, not someone you have to keep guessing about. Liking someone who doesn't like you back leaves a quiet kind of disappointment. One that doesn't explode, it settles. But it also leaves you wiser, more honest with yourself, and a little more careful with where you place your hope next time. After it ended, if you could even call it an ending, I noticed how empty the space felt without the constant wondering. My phone felt quieter. My days felt less charged, less anxious. I hadn't realized how much emotional energy I'd been spending just trying to interpret her. Every notification had carried a flicker of hope. Every silence had carried doubt. Letting go of her meant letting go of that emotional roller coaster. And the calm that followed was almost strange, almost unsettling. I also started noticing how one-sided things had been. How often I adjusted my schedule, my expectations, my tone just to match her mood. I had been careful not to ask for too much, not to scare her away, and not to reveal how deeply I felt. In doing so, I slowly made myself smaller. I told myself I was being understanding, but in reality, I was just sacrificing clarity for the comfort of staying close to her. There were moments when I wondered if she knew what she was doing, if she understood how her inconsistencies affected me. But I eventually realized that intention didn't matter as much as impact. Whether she meant it or not, the results were the same. I was left feeling uncertain, replaceable, and quietly disappointed. And that feeling lingered longer than any conversation we ever had. What stayed with me the most was how real it felt while it was all happening. The connection wasn't imagined, the laughs were real, the closeness was real. That's what made walking away so hard. I wasn't chasing anything, I was letting go of something incomplete. Something that never quite crossed the line into something solid. Over time, the disappointment softened into clarity. I stopped asking what I did wrong and started asking what I needed. I learned that mutual interest doesn't require decoding, that care doesn't come in confusing patterns, and that the right person won't leave you constantly questioning where you stand. I learned that liking someone so deeply doesn't mean you have to accept uncertainty as the price. Now, when I think of her, there's no anger, it's just a quiet understanding. She wasn't my person, even if it felt like she could have been. And maybe that's the hardest truth to accept. Sometimes the connection is real, but the timing, intention, or depth just doesn't align. Walking away didn't mean I stopped caring. It meant I finally cared enough about myself to choose clarity over confusion. And even now, I carry that experience with me, not as a wound, but as a reminder. A reminder that my feelings deserve space, that my time and attention are valuable, and that love shouldn't feel like guessing. I still believe in connection, in chemistry, in that quiet spark that makes something feel different, but next time, I won't settle for uncertainty dressed up as hope. Next time, I'll wait for someone who meets my feelings with the same certainty I'm willing to give.